Three, two, one, and we're live with another edition of Notes on the News. I'm Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Thank you so much for clicking on the video if you're watching the replay, or joining us live if you're watching us live. We're working on 1,000. So if you are one of my 1,000 first charter subscribers, whoop, 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 I love you, boo. I really, really do. I love y'all anyway. Y'all are fabulites. You're fabulous. You're fabulites. If you're not a subscriber already, consider subscribing. Check out some of the, play around with the channel. Watch some of the reviews. I like you. You like me. If you come in to one of my videos, you don't have to pay to watch. It's free. It's totally free. But I just ask you to pay me in likes, pay me in comments, pay me in subscriptions. I love love. Don't you love love? Show a sister some love. I think that's all I got for this top of the show commercial. Let us proceed with the notes on the news feed. But the feed that I want to talk about real quick first is my YouTube feed, because my YouTube feed was blowing up last night with there was some meltdown on the Queen's Court with Kaya and T.S. Madison. Now, I might have watched 1 or 2 episodes of the Queen's Court, and I'm a new watcher, and most of the time I don't really exactly know what they're talking about, because I'm not really up on pop culture, and it's just a lot. I realize as I've been, that I guess I know what I know about my world, but it's so much of this like common knowledge to other people that I just don't know. So a lot of times I don't know what they're talking about. So I like to hear other people's recaps and reviews, because I think that they're really funny, and, they help to give me some, I don't know. When I watch the show, usually I don't know who they're talking about or what a guan until somebody explain it to me and break it down. So I was watching Properly Bonafide. That's the person who broke it to me last night. And then I watched Atlin, Atlinen's video. I don't know I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. And I watched Lovely T did a video last night. And then somebody else, I think I watched a video last night. So it was like there was 4 videos that popped off last night, because they were supposed to be interviewing Monique. It was supposed to be a surprise, but I guess it wasn't exactly a surprise, because apparently Monique had it streaming on her, not Snapchat, but, like she had it like streaming live on her video, not YouTube or Facebook, but, one of these other social media sites. So she was streaming, and so you can hear part of the meltdown there. And then on the YouTube, on their Facebook channel, where they normally stream the show first before they throw it up on YouTube or wherever they throw it up afterwards. It was like, I guess there was technical difficulties. Somebody Properly Bonafide kept mentioning somebody in an Emery t-shirt. I guess they had the whole new tech stuff and they were trying to do something more. I hear that T.S. Madison said that she spent $2,000 or $3,000 upgrading stuff. She been working on it all week. Kaya ain't been into it all week. She ain't feeling it. The vibrations ain't right for her. So she ended up walking off the set. T.S. Madison was crying, I heard. She tried to hold it together, and then she ended up, trying to reschedule with Monique, and Monique is like, I'm sorry, darling, or I didn't hear, but basically like, I'm sorry, but I've already spent, 30, 40 minutes sitting here doing nothing, so my schedule is booked. This is we up to the limit for y'all, but she was like trying to soothe Kaya, and but anyway, my neck, my back, woo, it's some drama. So did we just watch the meltdown of the Queen's Court? They looked like, I thought it was really interesting and exciting, just in the abstract, this idea of these I didn't know how their money was flowing from doing this live stream on Facebook, which seemed to have 8 million people on it when they went live. And I went live on Facebook with them once. And it seemed to be very well received. They seemed like they were trying to up, or maybe some people say just T.S. Madison was trying to like up the set and up the concept, because the concept is the Queen's Court. I know a lot of people are like, well, it was better when y'all was just in the living room kicking it. But I kind of liked it conceptually. I'm like, it's the Queen's Court. They got on their judges' robes. They showing boobies. They got the head wrapped. It's like, the Queen's Court. I'm like, okay. They do the twerking. T.S. Madison do the booby twerks, and So it seemed like they were trying to build something. It seemed like they had something that was really marketable. It was getting a lot of traction and attention. I mean, I heard about it because of the whole, I think I heard about it when they first started talking about Regine and Toya or something. I don't know. I think that's how I heard about it because I ain't know nothing about them. But, and so, I see that they get views. Hey, welcome to the live. I see we still talking about the Queen's Court, and then I'm going to jump into the real news. I see they seem to be doing well, getting views on YouTube, views on Facebook. I don't know how that was how that was filtering down into money, because I understand for the Facebook program, you have to be invited in. So I don't know if they were part of the Facebook revenue stream, but it seemed like they had something viable. The streets was talking, so I don't know if they're going to be able to get it back together, even though it was a meltdown, or they're going to be able to rebuild something, or is it a wrap? And it was just that stream that Monique had going was just like, it was the little bit I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, the bochinche, the drama, And I was excited to see them building something and something growing, and it's kind of like sad and like, oh my gosh, to see something falling apart. Although it was really fascinating to see that moment. I don't know if it fell apart. I'm not putting that out there, but it fell apart momentarily. But it was really fascinating, the little bit that I saw of that moment. So go ahead and like if you would. You don't have to pay a fee to be here, but if you would like the video, I sure would appreciate it. It's a big help. It's a blessing. So let's proceed with the rest of the notes on the news feed. Black Twitter roasts Today's Show for Queen Nefertiti reconstruction that looks like a white woman. And they say Queen Nefertiti was known for her black beauty. So why they got the reconstruction up there looking like, I ain't been on Twitter today, I'm just looking at this article. Why they got the reconstruction of Queen Nefertiti looking like a white woman? That's like having Lupita Nyong'o played by a white woman. And that'll probably happen like in 100, 200 years. They'll be like, and then there was Lupita Nyong'o and she was born in Mexico, and she'll be like all pale and straight haired and stuff. But anyway, I'm not saying that. That's not going to happen. We're not projecting that into the future. The 10 best places to visit in the U.S. this year, according to Lonely Planet. I was kind of curious to see what they had on the list. Like Cincinnati was on the list, so there were some urban places. There was some place in Maine. I like to have a list of the 10 best places for Black folks to visit. I'd just be curious. I don't know. Like, I always feel like our perspective can frequently be a little different. Hey, welcome in. Go ahead and like the video if you haven't already liked it. The Coffin Seller of Kabul. There's warfare and fighting and stuff going on. When I first saw the title, I thought it was the coffee seller, but it's coffin. And it's kind of like, I guess, in a place where a lot of people are dying. I didn't look at the article. Thank you for the like. I didn't look at the article, but, the little summary was kind of talking about the fact that, when you're in a place where a lot of people are dying, it can be sad, and I guess his business is probably thriving, but, it's probably very like disturbing and upsetting. Hey, welcome in. We got 2 likes and 3 people in the room. Yeah. So we already talked about Maddie and T.S. Madison earlier. The plant-based eating plan followed by supermodel Christy Brinkley, yay, 3 likes and 3 people, could have huge benefits for your brain and body. I'm not really so much interested in Christy Brinkley, but y'all know I take every opportunity I can to talk about water. So have you had any water today? If you've had a cup, go on and have you another cup. If you do have a target of water today, every day, today, this moment, go on and drink you some water. Water is really, really important. Eat you a piece of fruit today. If you already ate one, eat you another one. A raw piece of fruit. Get you a salad, get you some whole foods, try some brown rice, some brown pastas, some whole wheat pasta. Look at the ingredients. We have to elevate our eating. We have to up our game. We got to take care of us. If not us, then who? We want to live long and prosper and have a great, vibrant, energetic quality of life. So we got to talk about this stuff. So that's why I was like happy to see that article. Rihanna helps raise billions of dollars for global education. Yay, Riri. She, I don't know Rihanna, but I like the part of her image that's like, I'm doing what the whatever the F I want to do. And if you don't like it, F you. And this is what I want to wear. This is who I want to date. I want to have sex. I want to, whatever I'm doing, that's what I'm doing because that's what I want to do. I like that attitude. I like her being a businesswoman and having started her cosmetic brand. I like how she did it and the fact that people were very responsive. I haven't tried any of the products. Y'all know I sell another line, but I like, you know, people have been very like, woo, we love Fenty, Fenty, Fenty. So I feel like she put out a quality product, and it seemed like she put it out in a quality way that a lot of people felt respected and affirmed. And I think that's beautiful and wonderful and powerful, and I love that. And I also love that she has her foundation for her grandmother, and you know, I really send her love and good vibrations. And you know, I think you know, I like, you know, I don't feel like she's perfect, but I appreciate what she brings. Winter Olympics. Friendly North Korea is fake, says former bomber. You know, North Korea has been trying to be friendlier to South Korea. I think that there were some Olympics before that were held in Korea or in one of the Koreas. And this article, if I'm not mistaken, said that they did something similar to what's going on now. Like, oh yeah, we're friends. And then they did some foul stuff, you know, during the Olympics. That's the rumor. That's what I understood. Is that what you heard? So they, you know, this person is basically like, y'all better watch your back with North Korea. And I'm like, oh. I mean, I don't know. I'm really interested because there are a couple YouTubers that I follow. There's one young black woman who, Megan is a young black woman who's been over there for a long time. She's real, you know, polished and together. I never have heard her say anything about politics. And I'm like, as stuff goes on, I'm like, are they okay? And then there's this other young woman, I can't remember her name, but she dates a Korean guy, and she had dated a Korean guy in the States, and I never hear them talk about politics. So I'm like, are they okay? Is the government telling them they can't talk about politics? Are they leaving the country? Like, what's going on? I don't know. You know. Time's Up. You know, there's the hashtag Me Too, and then there's the organization Time's Up. And people are like, what does Time's Up do? Time's Up is the same as Me Too. And I'm like, when I first heard about Time's Up, they were talking about how they were raising money to help women fight against sexual harassment. Women who weren't famous, women who weren't rich, you know. And so I was happy to see this headline. Time's Up helps over 1,000 people, raises $20 million to combat sexual harassment. Makers Conference. I guess there's some Makers Conference going on. And well, I don't know what a Makers Conference is. I guess people who make things, and they have a conference to talk about the makeation of the makings. Tina Titchen, Ava DuVernay, Natalie Portman, Rashida Jones, Jill Soloway. You know, those were some of the names of the people involved. Happy birthday to Bob Marley. This on my windowsill, singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is already all right. I always change it to that, 'cause y'all know I be affirming. I'm like, it's already all right. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is already all right. Okay, February 6, 1993, Arthur Ashe died. So it's not a birthday anniversary, but it's a death day anniversary. Arthur Ashe is an ancestor who was a tennis great. Because I think when we see, I don't watch tennis, but sometimes I'm around people who do because of Serena and the other brown folks. Serena and Venus and the other brown folks. But I think there's some place where big time tennis is played, and it's called the Arthur Ashe Stadium. So rest in peace, Baba. Thank you for your groundbreaking breakation. Happy birthday, Bob Marley. Rest in peace. Thank you for being born and for the impact you had on the world. Just like how American blacks, I think it's like we're such a small percentage of the world, but we've had a big impact on the world at large. Jamaica is like that. I mean, it is a small island. And when you look at how powerful and popular and how impactful Bob Marley is, it's amazing. But I mean, just Africans throughout the diaspora, because a lot of folks in the States are actually from all over the black world. We just might not realize it. Just like we didn't know that Juju on Love and Hip Hop was Afro-Latina, that she was Cuban. people always assume when people are Afro-Latina, if they're black, that they Cuban. So that's funny that she is actually Cuban. France bans smartphone use in cars, even when you pull over. So they like, if you don't even have your phone, don't have your phone on the dash, don't have your phone on the seat. If you drive, and put your phone away. Don't be talking about you pulling over no, unless it's a designated, and I guess they have designated places to pull over, because they've seen an uptick of accidents. And so they're trying to make that better. They want to ameliorate that. They don't want to have people having accidents out here driving around, looking at cell phones, texting and driving. And we need to do better. I know I need to do better. I know a lot of times when I'm driving, I'm trying to multitask, something comes to my head. I'm like, oh, let me text him. Oh, I'm late. And I'm like, oh, I got to stop. Really, what I always try to tell myself is that I had one of my good friends' babies, 3 years old, was hit by a car and he died. And so I always think, oh my God, Jacoby Rye, ancestors say your name. But I always think, oh my gosh, is what I'm doing. How would I feel if, I hit somebody over this? Is what I'm doing more important than somebody else's life? And I always think of Jacoby Rye and call his name when I think that. And, so help us to be better and more respectful, because I know we think our world is really important, and it is really important to us, but it's not the most important thing ever. Zimbabwe's opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai critically ill. And they have critically ill in quotes, but the thing said he had cancer. But I'm like, was the critically ill in quotes makes you think that it's like, did somebody poison him? I mean, what, I didn't know. North Korea launches exclusive new beer, and I think it's made with wheat instead of barley hops or something like that. But it's a way for them to make money at the Olympics, I guess, because a lot of Europeans, they say, or whatever, there's a whole market for the beer selling at the Olympics. That's what I'm thinking. Mogadishu truck bomber sentenced to death. I didn't see a picture of the truck bomber in the article, and that's what I was looking for. But I think that like over 500 people were impacted by this bombing. It happened like October, November, late last year. Maybe like 100 people died, give or take. It was like a big deal. Yeah. Rest in peace to all of those people. Rest in peace for all of us. Drone footage shows highway pileup. And this happened apparently a few days ago. There was like 100 cars involved with the accident. And I think it was like in Missouri. Did y'all hear about that? I didn't hear about it. But the drone footage is going around, I guess. So rest in peace to the person who made their transition during that accident, to their family and community and friends. The dog is in the backyard looking at me. He got his ears pulled back like he trying to hear what I'm saying. Maldives ex-president Nasheed seeks help from India in the U.S. So the president has some political prisoners. He wouldn't let the political prisoners out. The court said, you got to let these people go. He's like, y'all are my enemies. Army, don't let them try to remove me. The army is on his side. So it seemed like a coup. So the person who was the president is like, this is a coup. The world, and then, the U.S. State Department issued a statement, and somebody else has like, the world is watching. And I'm like, now I wonder if that would help when I think about my sense of President Zero. If somebody were to say, don't do so-and-so, Zero, because the world is watching, I just don't feel like it would be effective. But I don't know. I don't know. Powerball winner sues for anonymity over $560 million jackpot. So I guess you're required to report who wins the lottery in most states, unless if you know, and she said that she signed the thing, but nobody disclosed to her, or this person, no one disclosed to them that they could set up a trust, and then the money could be released to the trust and they could remain anonymous. I wouldn't, if I want a whole bunch of people, if I want a whole bunch of money, I don't want you people knowing and coming and being like, Angela, because I feel like my grandmother was not even really wealthy, but it seemed like people constantly, I got the impression that people were constantly coming to her asking. And there's nothing wrong with asking, and there's nothing wrong with helping. But, yeah. German industrial workers win right to flexible hours. We talked about this maybe last week. They were going on strike. They were having strikes. Their work week is 35 hours. They wanted to have the option to cut back to 28 hours in order to take care of ill relatives, elderly relatives, children, and have a 2-year window to do that and come back to their full-time jobs and still get full-time pay. So the people who they were negotiating with were like, nah, and then it worked out. So yay, German industrial workers. Samsung's dual camera bokeh tricks are coming to budget phones. Now I don't know what bokeh is. I'm not familiar with that, but it's like 2 cameras on the back of the phone. So there are like different effects. And usually, I guess in the past, those effects were available to people who spent a lot of money on their phone, but they say they're coming to the budget phones. So, even us, people who aren't spending a lot of money on electronics may be getting some exciting new things. I feel like all of this technology, I think is really quite exciting and relatively inexpensive. I don't do anything fancy because I don't know enough to do anything fancy. More than 100 female MPs and peers posed for a photo in British Parliament to mark 100 years of Voters for Women. And I looked at the picture and I saw like one brown person and one like pale brown person. And it was like 100 women. Now, I don't know what the demographics are in Britain in terms of folks of color. But anyway, police shootings. Black teen killed by LA sheriff's deputies, claiming that he had a gun, as in probably the child had a gun, and probably the cop claimed that, he was fearful for his life because it's SSDD. It seemed like I used to say that all the time on this show. Same shit, different day. And I hardly ever say it anymore, but here's another example. I don't even know the child's name because it's not in the article. It's coming off the Griot. And I hadn't heard about it. So, rest in peace, baby boy, your family, your community, all Black and brown folks, because it's a collective trauma to us whenever we hear about, just the bull. The lies. He had a gun. I thought he had a weapon. I was afraid for my life. I was so scared I had to shoot him and kill him. That stuff and then the people, the so-called justice system, supports that bull. And then we feel like we just out here waiting for somebody to gun us down, gun our boy. It's some bull. It's stressful. And it's, let us say a prayer for, all of us, for our peace and for our strength and for our continued resistance, and for our continued, sanity and survival as a people. Winter Olympics, soldiers replace security staff after norovirus outbreak. I think was it 15 or 20 people had an outbreak? So they had to replace the whole security staff, like 1,000 people, and they brought in 800 soldiers because they don't want, I guess, this whole breakout. And they working on the food services stuff. And, I don't really know what norovirus is. Didn't they have that on the quad? Because they had some kind of virus on the quad, remember last week? I think it was norovirus. South Africa proposes Zuma State of Nation speech. No, South Africa postpones Zuma State of Nation speech. I think they're trying to get Zuma to step down, aren't they? American Theater, the Black and White History of Minstrel Shows. Kresge Foundation to support neighborhood projects with an additional $6 million over 3 years. That's here in Detroit. Women to Watch in Africa during 2018. How women and girls in Senegal are pushing ahead in the tech world. How 2 new curators at the Detroit Institute of Arts are remaking the contemporary galleries. And they were brown when I looked at the pictures. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, girls. Okay, ladies. FBI tracks and arrests Black identity extremists, and hardly anyone is talking about it. I read an article, a blog about it maybe 3 or 4 days ago. They had this designation of Black identity extremists in this terrorist category, or, and it's kind of like, what does that mean? And it seems to mean Black folks who are like, I'm Black and I don't want you killing me in the streets, and I don't want you killing my people in the streets. And I'm going to stand up and be like, no, it's not cool for you to be killing me and my people in the streets, and I'm Black and I'm proud. So then the government is like, we designate you a Black identity extremist and you're a danger to the state. Kind of like COINTELPRO, the same stuff they've been doing. Kind of like when we were enslaved and they were like, this Negro ain't no good. Dodge commercial slammed as disgrace on Twitter for use of MLK voice to sell trucks. I didn't see that commercial. Trayvon Martin is honored on what would have been his 23rd birthday. So happy birthday, ancestor Trayvon. Happy belated birthday. And he was the one, when I first got on Twitter, when I was first on Twitter, the first time that I was using Twitter in my early days, that was kind of like the first time when I was kind of like, wow, because I started seeing like hashtag Trayvon Martin, hashtag Trayvon Martin, hashtag Trayvon Martin. And I'm like, what is this Trayvon Martin? And then I was reading all of these articles and blogs and things that people were writing, just regular people were writing, because it hadn't hit the mainstream media yet. And so there was this whole movement that I was able to see and connect with and get information on through Twitter that wasn't on the TV or in the mainstream media at all. And that's when I was like, started to like be like, dang, Twitter is, that's when I started giving Twitter much respect. So rest in peace, family and community of Trayvon, and rest in power, because your spirit has really been an inspiration to a lot of people. And you know, your experience has inspired people. How the last name Washington became the blackest name in America. Is your last name Washington? Are you black? You know any Washingtons? The African Grove Theater, America's first commercially successful black theater company. Chicago school officials insist closures will benefit students. Activists say black Latino students are paying the price. Same shit, different day. White supremacists are targeting college students more than ever. So the numbers are up. I thought they were up. Sex toys mysteriously delivered to Canadian university students. Fox axes YouTube star Kean Lawley from The Hate U Give over racially offensive video. I don't know anything about that. One deputy killed, 4 people injured in Colorado Springs shooting. So peace again. I spent time in Colorado Springs. I had the little place I was back and forth with my first husband, because he was a teacher at the Colorado College there. And the little place we had, I would sit in the back window and I could look at the mountains. And I'm a water girl, an ocean girl, and I just was never into. And it was so beautiful. It made me respect the mountains. I'm like, they are really beautiful. I just look out my back window and just, it was so beautiful. But I still love the water and the ocean. So I didn't hear about this shooting either, but yesterday it was so much going on. I don't know what was going on in the world. Federal investigators are trying to figure out what role a mechanical switch played in the Amtrak crash that killed 2 people in South Carolina. Cape Town pushes possible tap closure on day 0 to May. So they talk about, day 0 when they we're going to run out of water. It's going to be May. 7 charged over circus school abuse. The cast of Black Panther spent months learning how to fight. Fighting in northwest Syria is in a tailspin as Turkish forces shoot at fleeing civilians and mutilate U.S.-backed forces. Old Navy fired 3 employees after customers said he was accused of stealing a jacket he wore into the store. He said, I got this for Christmas. They you stole it. Roll the security footage. And I guess that, Chile's first female pilot, Margot Duhalde, dies at 97. Taraji P. Henson and Halle Berry shocked and sick over manager's sexual assault allegations. Now, Halle parted ways with him before. I don't know if Taraji has parted ways with him. Best Buy will stop CD sales as digital music continues to take over. Broadway gets a house for real live American playwrights. Audit finds that the Pentagon lost track of more than $800 million. That was in 2016. Do they do yearly audits? How you lose $800 million? I guess it depends on the scale, because I could lose $8 or 8 cents and not know. So maybe that's like that to them. Doritos sparks backlash after announcing sexist, lady-friendly trips. They don't crunch loudly, and they're small enough to fit in your purse. This Is Us co-runners Isaac Apteker and Elizabeth Berger signed with CAA. So the co-runners and the 2 founders, they appear to be white, but I still like This Is Us, because I haven't been. I haven't read any think pieces that caused me to think differently. John Mahoney, British-born Fraser actor, dies at 77. Remember, he was the daddy that had the little dog on the show? He made his transition. Rest in peace. I enjoyed your work, sir. Your family and community have peace, and thanks for your contribution. Disturbing videos show what Syrian rescue workers say is another chlorine gas attack. So when I was like, they say it was a chlorine attack, but did they throw bleach? They look like they couldn't breathe. It's like chemical warfare, and it does attack your ability to breathe. Maldives Supreme Court judges arrested amid political crisis. And that's it. I've looped back around. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being you. Thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing. You are subscribed, aren't you? Today is the best day ever. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Bye. Peace. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Be